Hi everyone, my name is Jon Svitak with the Shannon Law Group, and our firm helps people across the United States recover financially and emotionally after they experience injuries or side effects due to vaccines. And we do this by taking advantage of a government program called the Vaccine Injury Compensation Program. So today we're going to review the rotavirus vaccine and an injury that's commonly associated with that vaccine called intussusception. The rotavirus is a very contagious disease that causes abdominal pain, fever, vomiting, diarrhea, and it spreads easily among children. So usually at your 2-month well baby visit is when you'll first receive the rotavirus vaccine, and thereafter you might get 2 or 3 doses at the subsequent visits. And it's an oral vaccination, so it's not an intramuscular vaccination. And usually at this visit, your doctor will mention to you to watch for some blood in your baby's stool, or watch for some unusual bowel movements after receiving the rotavirus vaccine. And the reason is that on rare occasions, the rotavirus vaccine can cause something called intussusception. And intussusception is an injury involving the small and large intestine, where those intestines become overlapped or folded onto each other. And this can cause a blockage in your intestine and can cause diminished blood flow. And it's a serious life-threatening injury. So if you notice your child has become irritable, crying, and there's maybe some swelling in his abdominal region, or you notice some blood in his stool, or some kind of unusual bowel movement after receiving the rotavirus vaccine, it's very important to bring him or her to the emergency room right away, because of how serious this condition can be. There are 2 treatment options for intussusception. The first is a non-surgical procedure called an enema, where a tube is inserted in the rectum and air is used to put pressure on the intestines so that they unfold or untelescope, and that allows the intestines to work properly. It clears the blockage, and usually after that procedure, the child would make a full recovery. The other procedure is a surgical procedure, where a small incision is made in the child's abdomen, and surgical instruments are used to push the intestine back into place. Now, after these procedures are performed, usually the child makes a full recovery, and you may be in the hospital for 1 to 2 days, and afterwards the child can go back to eating, drinking, and doing everything a normal child would be doing. So usually in a vaccine injury case, what we're looking for is symptoms lasting for at least 6 months. That's what they call the severity requirement in the program. However, this rotavirus vaccine is really what created what we call the surgical exception to that rule, where if as a result of your vaccine injury you are hospitalized and require some kind of surgical intervention to treat your injury, then you don't need to have 6 months of symptoms in order to be eligible for compensation in the program. So if your child does experience intussusception, you take him or her to the hospital and they require the surgical procedure to treat the condition, you would be entitled to compensation through the Vaccine Injury Compensation Program. So if you believe that your child may have experienced this injury, what we would do for you is draft a petition alleging that they received the rotavirus vaccine, experienced this intussusception injury, and try and pursue compensation for you. The compensation available in the program includes any out-of-pocket medical expenses incurred as a result of the injury, any lost wages or earnings as a result. In this case, because it's not a long-term injury, likely there wouldn't be any diminished earning capacity for this particular injury. And then there's pain and suffering damages as well. So those are all the types of compensation available, and our fees or our costs that we incur while we pursue compensation for you is covered under the program. So you don't pay any attorney's fees, you don't pay any attorney's costs. we file our own petition for our fees and costs. Most of the cases in the program are resolved through settlement with the government. So we determine, if this is an injury that's covered under the program, we try to come to an agreement on the value of your damages. If we can't come to an agreement or we can't settle the case, there's a judge that's assigned to your case that resolves disputes between us and the government. So we would present our case, the government would present their case, and the judge would determine how much compensation you're entitled to. That's typically, those are the two ways that we would reach a resolution for your case. If you'd like to learn more about the VICP, I wrote a book about it called VICP Understanding the Vaccine Injury Compensation Program. If you want a free copy of the book, all you have to do is text VICP to 312-847-2428, and we'll ship one out to you for free. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more content like this.